Welcome to Habitat for Humanity's Chicago 2021 Annual Benefit, Under One Roof. My name is Samir Mayakar, and I'm the Deputy Mayor of the City of Chicago for Neighborhood and Economic Development. Today we gather to celebrate the work that Habitat Chicago undertakes each day and invite our entire Chicago community to support this essential effort. For the City of Chicago, reinvesting in communities is a priority for Mayor Lightfoot, and Invest Southwest is our initiative that drives resources and investment into neighborhoods that have seen disinvestment for far too long. Invest Southwest is Mayor Lightfoot's signature economic development initiative, and it's really focusing on heralding nearly $1 billion of investment into 10 key neighborhood areas on the south and west side. And the goal of the program is to mobilize government investment in a way that will catalyze a multiplier of public, private, and nonprofit follow-on investment. Now, Habitat for Humanity Chicago is one of the organizations that is investing in neighborhoods on the south side especially, specifically in West Pullman and Greater Grand Crossing. Along with providing affordable homeownership to qualified buyers, Habitat Chicago invests in neighbors to support healthy neighborhoods. Whether that work is through the Neighborhood Grants Initiative, Homebuyer University, or home care education workshops, each of these very important programs builds a healthier neighborhood and a stronger Chicago with opportunity for all. Thank you for joining us today, and your support of Habitat Chicago is an investment in our incredible city and all of our 77 resilient neighborhoods.
No matter who we are or where we come from, we all deserve to have a decent life. We deserve to feel strength and stability day after day. We deserve to know we have the power to take care of ourselves and build our own futures. This is what unites us.
And that is why we are here today, to celebrate your determination to build stronger futures for your families and to wish you success as you take on the new exciting challenge of homeownership.
I never thought in a million years that I would be a homeowner. Like I said, I started the program by accident. I just wanted to learn more about how to be a homeowner. A lot of people in my family have not been able to do that. So hopefully, besides passing down generational wealth to my sons, I can also be an inspiration to other family members to say if I can do it, they can definitely do it.
It's amazing for my kids to tell everybody, their kids, like, my mom built our house. It was just something like make me proud as a mother. In order to get what you want, you got to make sacrifices, and that's what I did. So that's what the whole highlight of this whole thing is, making me a better person to do what I have to do.
All right, everyone with me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Our shared vision is a world where everyone has a decent place to live. Because you, me, we're all humans. And every single one of us deserves the opportunity for a better future.
Good afternoon, all. My name is Mike Pfeffer, and it's my honor to be with you today as MC for Habitat Chicago's annual benefit, Under One Roof. I've been a member of Habitat Chicago's Board of Directors since 2013, and as I was preparing for today, I was taken back to when I was just joining the board, driving down a vacant block in West Pullman, where we had just completed 1.5 total houses. When I looked over there, I saw a vacant block ripe with opportunity. Today on that block, there are 21 beautiful new houses finished. 21 houses offering transformational change for the families who call them home. providing stability, independence, and financial strength for themselves and future generations. Yes, we're Habitat. We build new houses and we help families locked out of traditional loans access life-changing benefits of home ownership. But in Chicago, we don't stop there. These new houses are one piece of what we do and are a bigger part of the story, a bigger part of our vision, one of transformational community change. In tandem with our new home construction and affordable home ownership, we offer direct funding to neighborhood improvement projects led by community residents. We provide public home buyer readiness training to reach more Chicagoans interested in pursuing home ownership for the first time. And we host hands-on home care workshops to help our neighbors maintain their homes comfortably, efficiently, and affordably. Through all of these avenues, we listen to and we invest in our fellow Chicagoans. When you think of the vacant lots that are now homes contributing to neighborhood market vitality, when you think of thousands of volunteers who dedicate their time to their neighbors each year, when you think of the deteriorating basketball court that is now a space where people can safely play and gather for years to come, when you think of the community garden that provides nutritious food and promotes conservation, when you think of the porch repairs done by neighbors who previously didn't know one another. Altogether, these foster communities of care and opportunity. This is what I'm especially proud of to be a part of. And this is what we're asking you to be a part of today. Our goal is for this year's benefit to raise $150,000 to fund our next home. Every dollar that you give toward this goal not only helps a family create a stronger future, but has a multiplying effect as part of this bigger vision of what the city can be. You can see on the progress bar above me that we have already raised a current total of $115,000. Thank you to everyone that has already contributed to that goal. Together, we can hit that today. Every gift makes a difference, and today, your gift can go twice as far. Thanks to the generosity of our partners at PNC and an anonymous donor, we have a matching challenge of $30,000. Your $5 will become $10. Your $500 will become $1,000. At any point during today's event, click that green donate button on your screen and our donation form will appear. Our live stream will keep on playing so you won't miss a beat. Now, our framing sponsors for today's event deserve a special shout out. Thank you to these folks. When these folks were asked to support our work here at Habitat Chicago, they jumped in, and they jumped in a big way. Thank you, Cam Avery and Lynn Donaldson. Thank you, Elite Staffing. Thank you, Halco Lighting Technologies, and thank you, PNC. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now let's get to it. I'm so excited to hand the mic over to Nate Marshall. Raised in West Pullman and a proud CPS alum, Nate is an award-winning author, editor, poet, playwright, performer, educator, speaker, and rapper. He received the 21st Century Award from the Chicago Public Library Foundation in 2020, following his release of his latest book, Finna. Here he is with When I Say Chicago.
What's up, y'all? My name is Nate Marshall, and I'm really honored and excited to be here today for Habitat's benefit. Habitat does really incredible work, and I'm really excited that one of their target communities is West Pullman, which is where I'm from. I think they're building or have built houses literally like down the block from where I grew up. And so, really grateful to be here and to be a part of this wonderful event. So I wanted to read this poem, which I think is fitting for the day and for what we're up to here today, what we're thinking about what it means to make a home and to make a home in a city as wonderful and vibrant as Chicago, and communities as wonderful and vibrant as West Pullman, Greater Grand Crossing, so much of the city. So this poem is called when I say Chicago. Capital city of the flyover, crown jewel of the jailhouse, a town in love with its own blood, a blood browned on its own history and funk, hometown of the riot and the riot gear, the gang and the loitering law, misfit blocks of dark-skinned cousins and thick-knuckled Slavic uncles who call each other their worst names. What this country know about a rust belt dipped in salt and vinegar and sold as marked up and rustic. My city is the city, not your close enough suburb, not subject to the suppression of tape and the tapping of phones. How can you say anything about our blocks and schools and children that you refuse to see? Don't tell us what is wrong with all of our cousins you've never known. You do not govern what you do not love. When I say Chicago, I mean that first Haitian cat who could pronounce it right. When I say Chicago, I mean the stopped and frisked. I mean the euphemism of frisk. I mean the beat down and tight cuff. I mean the drop off in Bridgeport or Mount Greenwood. I mean the lessons taught to an uppity one. When I say Chicago, I mean the lake, and I mean all of it. I mean the candy lady at Rainbow and the paleta man at Calumet and the kids careening across the green at Montrose and the jogger in midwinter daring death for fitness. When I say Chicago, I mean Cabrini and Stateway and Ickes and Ida, the city I'll tell my kids about in the past tense. I mean the rents that sometimes make me mean Georgia or Indiana or Dalton. When I say Chicago, I mean the restaurants with no chairs, just a window, a bulletproof sneeze guard. I mean a Michelin star for all the ethnics slanging their seasoned meats and language. When I say Chicago, I mean my mama's house. That was my grandma's house. I mean the neighborhood. That was our neighborhood. Because we said, we'll make a home here and we'll stay. Cool. Thank you all so much. God bless.
Thank you, Nate, for sharing your work and your words with us today. Our progress bar is moving up. We're currently at $117,000. Great job, everyone. Shout outs to Joe, Dan, Agua Plumbing, Michael, Mary, Related Midwest, and Sandra. Thank you all. Now, I'm proud to introduce Jen Parks, Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity Chicago. Jen has spent close to her entire career with Habitat for Humanity and has served as the Executive Director in Chicago for the last decade. Throughout my time here at Habitat, I've seen firsthand her exceptional leadership and her determination to grow our organization from those 1.5 houses to what it is today. 1.5 houses to what it is today. Over to you, Jen.
Good afternoon. I'm Jen Parks, Executive Director for Habitat for Humanity Chicago. Thank you for joining us today as we share our journey this past year and what we see for the future. And can we stop for a moment and give thanks for the terrific speakers we've had so far? Deputy Mayor Samir Mayakar and Nate Marshall's voices are powerful testaments to the vision, talent, and opportunity that emanate from our city. You'll be hearing more powerful voices, one from retired Chicago Bear and humanitarian Israel Idonije, and then our panelists, homeowner Tanya and homebuyer Joyce. We are grateful that together they round out our Habitat Chicago story. Each of you joining us today, along with the hundreds of donors who have contributed to this year's annual benefit, is a true testament that together, under one roof, we create change for our neighbors, our neighborhoods, and our city. We all know this past year has been a test of patience and endurance through which we navigated a pandemic and the enormity of the unknown. Many lost their lives, and no one has been untouched by this loss. It's also been a test of how we are going to step up to address the systemic racism laid bare. We've seen innocent Black men and women murdered on camera. We've seen the disparities in health outcomes that the Black and Latino communities faced during this pandemic. And we've seen the economic injustice that persists. White families have 7 times more wealth than Black families, a disparity that has existed for more than 50 years. These are just a few of the hard truths that are symptoms of over 400 years of systemic racism. Habitat for Humanity's roots in addressing discrimination and economic inequality go back to the 1940s and Koinonia farms. Koinonia was an intentional community in rural southwest Georgia where all were welcome, Black and white workers were paid a fair, equal wage, and providing good quality, affordable homes to neighbors were central tenets. When the farm's commitment to racial equality and economic sharing brought bullets and bombs from the KKK and others in the 1950s, they did not cower. They were a steadfast movement of respect and dignity. And out of this daring movement, Habitat for Humanity was born. Here in Chicago, we continue this movement by bringing people together to promote economic justice and equitable development in the South Side neighborhoods of West Pullman and Greater Grand Crossing. Despite the setbacks and uncertainties of this past year, Habitat Chicago is still here and we are still fighting. No matter what this world throws at us, we will stay fighting until every person has a decent home until the color of a person's skin does not impede his or her ability to live in a thriving neighborhood. Let me share some of what our Habitat Chicago journey looked like. Just as the pandemic hit, our team was ramping up for one of our most productive years ever. We hit pause, we assessed our plans, we reimagined our work for the coming months. We prioritized keeping our team intact as we wanted to be sure we emerged strong from the pandemic to carry on this most important work. We initially closed our restore for 2.5 months, and as our team followed the reopening protocols closely, were able to successfully reopen in June and have remained open throughout the pandemic. The Restore is a social enterprise that generates revenue through the sale of new and used building materials and furniture, and it is now achieving some of its highest sales months in history. We kept building new homes, sometimes with volunteers when safety protocols allowed us to do so, and sometimes without volunteers, a first for us. Our incredible construction team ensured that home building progressed so that 11 new single-family homes were completed since this pandemic started. This means 11 families with predictable housing payments and safe spaces to shelter in place. Within days, we will close on homes with our next 4 buyers. Our committed women builders had a peak year engaging over 300 volunteers who raised over $390,000 to help their fellow women become first-time homeowners. We funded 18 neighborhood projects that impacted over 4,400 people in both Greater Grand Crossing and West Pullman. These neighbors marshaled their energies to come together to make physical and social improvements in their communities based on their priorities. Priorities like porch repairs, community gardening, a back-to-school drive. Our Homebuyer University continued while transitioning to an online learning environment and graduated 39 people. 39 people are saying yes to homeownership and working towards financial stability, affordable monthly house payments, and the opportunity for generational wealth creation. And most certainly not to be overlooked is that we helped more families stay safely home. Our homeownership team worked with homeowners who are struggling with job losses and COVID cases to help them with forbearance and mortgage assistance. Through all of this incredible work, our work is more urgent than ever. Systemic inequality is real and its continued persistence is unjust. Justice requires that we tackle this head on. We know that homes in majority Black neighborhoods are valued at 23% less than homes with few or no Black residents. Black households pay 10 to 13% more in property taxes than white households with similar neighborhood types. 73% of white households are homeowners, compared to 44% of Black households. Now, I want us to take a moment and think about these statistics. These are human beings, not just numbers. Imagine trying to forge a path forward with these headwinds pushing against you, against your family. It's a matter of justice that we must tackle together as one community under one roof. And this is where our work comes in. Our model is built around creating homeownership opportunities for buyers who cannot access the traditional lending market. Habitat homes are priced at fair market value, and our buyers are not subject to negotiation or implicit bias or prejudice. Mortgage payments are kept at 30% of the homebuyer's monthly income, independent of home value or financing terms. The result is that homes are affordable regardless of race and gender, and buyers start building equity faster. Home equity is a key building block to wealth creation. This is a step towards justice. We provide homeownership education, so homebuyers have the skills to sustain homeownership over the long term. And what happens if the homeowner runs into financial problems, as some did during the pandemic? We have the flexibility to restructure the loan. This is a step towards justice. Altogether, Habitat Chicago invests millions of dollars every year into neighborhoods to create a multiplier effect. This year, we have laid the groundwork for our next rounds of neighborhood impact. We acquired a 1.2-acre parcel of land in West Pullman, upon which we'll build a 22-home development designed to foster community and provide green space for gathering. We also secured 11 lots for new home construction in the middle market community of Greater Grand Crossing, where new home buyers have access to quality education and strong neighbor-to-neighbor networks. These acquisitions allow us to operate at a significant volume and to promote equitable development. It translates into more than $9 million in multi-year investments, creating a catalytic impact that improves property values and mobilizes neighbors, all the while working alongside community leaders making a similar impact. This is a step towards justice. In being together today, under one virtual roof, we are a movement creating change on an individual level. We are a movement creating systemic change. We are a movement taking steps towards justice. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. This is vital work, and it's great to hear how our community has navigated the effects of the pandemic and the exciting plans for our future. Let's take a look at our fundraising totals. Hey guys, we're at $122,000. That's awesome. Good work so far. Thank you. Special shout outs to Henry, Andrew, Pamela, Audrey, Alan, John, and all of those anonymous donors. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I now have the pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker, Israel Idonije. Israel is an entrepreneur, a humanitarian, and a former Chicago Bear. He has earned many honors and awards for his work both on the field and off the field. To highlight just a few on the field, he led the NFL in blocked punts and field goals in 2005, 6, and 7. He was a member of the Chicago Bears NFC Championship team, which played in the 2006 Super Bowl. And he was the Bears' Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee in 2009 and 10, and one of the league's 3 finalists for the award in 2010. Off the field, he was recognized as a Points of Light awardee by Presidents Barack Obama and George H.W. Bush at the White House in 2013. He was acknowledged as Entrepreneur of the Year Midwest finalist in 2016, and he accepted Canada's Meritorious Service Decoration in 2019. Today, Israel serves as founder of IF Charities, a nonprofit whose programming has contributed to the lives of over 10,000 youth in Chicago, Winnipeg, and West Africa. And in 2020, Israel launched Fabric Impact House, a first of its kind philanthropic working hub designed to gather foundations, grant makers, and impact investors together under one roof with the purpose of offering greater access to opportunities to solve problems collaboratively that cannot be solved alone. It is important to Israel that all of his ventures have a positive impact in the world, lifting and building up others. Here's Israel on the importance of opening doors.
Hi everyone, I hope everyone's doing amazing. My name is Israel Idonije. It's an honor and a privilege to be joining you here for the Habitat for Humanity annual benefit. I've been so fortunate along my journey to have countless people help me build my dreams, countless people opening doors for me. I think that this journey that we're all on collectively, this journey of life, that truly the gift of this journey is sharing with others, loving others, helping others elevate, raise themselves up. And that's where real joy is found collectively for all of us as we continue to work and build together. My journey has been full of that from start to finish. And I'm sure that as my journey continues, I will have countless people continue to still support me and give to me along my journey. I was born in Lagos, Nigeria, to Henry and Joyce Idonije missionaries. When I was 4 years old, we moved from Nigeria to Canada. My father had a dream of service. He started a program called Street Love with a commitment to helping those that really needed support, helping those that were marginalized and otherwise might not have any love or support in our community that we were in Canada. With Street Love, we had local grocer partners where on the 1st and 15th of every month, they would give us food, provide food for us, and we would break down those boxes to allow families in our neighborhood to come and get free food support as they needed. Any food that was perishable, we would make soups and sandwiches, and we would take it underneath the bridges, and we would feed the homeless, give them coffee, give them soups and sandwiches to support them where they were in their lives on their journey. I didn't realize till later on in my life that for most of my childhood that we were poor. We didn't have much. And as a child, my parents always did their best to support and provide for us. But without the support and love of our community, we would have really experienced some tough times as children. One instance in particular that comes to mind is there was a YMCA in our neighborhood that was absolutely amazing. Computer lab, basketball courts, swimming pool, kitchens, racquetball courts, just an incredible facility, a facility that any kid would love to be a part of. We applied for a special grant that would allow us to get a membership at this YMCA, and thankfully an anonymous donor underwrote the memberships for myself and my other 3 siblings to become members at this YMCA. As a part of that membership, we had to attend the YMCA Youth Leadership Program, a program that would allow us to understand our gifts, allow us to understand how to connect with those around us, a program that taught us conflict resolution, communication skills, resume building, public speaking skills. Truly a transformative program. And for me, I learned so much there, being able to connect with other kids my age and just being in an environment that filled me up, that I was loved, that I was given support and all the things that I was dreaming about being as a young man. Through that program, I ended up becoming a junior leader to a senior leader and ultimately running the youth programs at the YMCA. Kevin Grindy, who was my boss in that program, one day came to me and said, "Izzy, I know you're this amazing athlete and you love basketball, but I think you should try out for football." And there is a tryout happening for the provincial team, which is like the state team in Canada, where I've already gone, I've applied for you, I've submitted you for the application. You just need to get to Winnipeg, Manitoba, which was 2.5 hours from where we lived, and try out for this team. At the time, football was not of interest to me. My passion as a child was to play basketball. My dream was to play basketball for the Chicago Bulls. And so when Coach Grindy brought me this opportunity, I thought, you know what, thanks coach, but no thanks. I'm gonna keep working at achieving my dream as a basketball player. But with convincing from coach and my mother, which really they forced me, we drove 2.5 hours from Brandon to Winnipeg, and I went to this practice. When I got my pads, I got my helmet, being competitive, I went out and I played as hard as I could, and lo and behold, I made the team. At that practice that day was Brian Doby, who was the head coach of the University of Manitoba Bisons. He called my family and they offered me a scholarship to play for the University of Manitoba, right? Who would have thought that my boss at the YMCA, who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, who got this opportunity for me to go to this tryout, opening that door for me, would take me on this path that would completely just transform not just my life, but the life of so many others. At the University of Manitoba, it was a rough first few years. I wanted to quit after my second year there because I didn't play in any games. I was just practicing. And I had no real opportunity to get on the field. And I remember going to my coach and saying, hey, what do I need to do to make this team as a starter or to even get in the rotation? And he said, hey, you need to come back bigger, stronger, faster. And that offseason, that's exactly what I did. I put in the work, I prepared. And the following year, the starter was academically ineligible. So by default, I had my first opportunity to start for the University of Manitoba. And I went out, I played hard, I had a great season, becoming CanWest All-Star, joining the CanWest first team, All-Canadian. And a scout from the Cleveland Browns, Yogi Jones, came to look at Darnell Edwards, who at the time was my roommate. And upon leaving his visit, he asked my coach, Brian Doby, is there anybody else that I should look at as a potential prospect for the NFL? Hesitantly, Coach Doby mentioned, we got this kid, Israel Idonije, who's, faster than all our other guys. He's bigger, but he's so raw. He hasn't played a lot of football. And Coach Jones stayed behind. He watched me practice. He watched me play and said, hey, young man, I think you can play in the NFL. I ended up signing a contract with the Cleveland Browns. I went out, and during our first training camp, right before our first preseason game, I broke my ankle. With my ankle broken, I went back home to Canada, and I went into hiding. Being the first Manitoban to ever play in the NFL, everywhere I went, people were asking me, hey, why aren't you in the NFL? Why aren't you in Cleveland? And at 21 years old, it was a hard conversation for me to have, and I just avoided it at all costs. And I remember my mother coming to me and saying, hey, you know what? It's important that you do the things necessary for you to take advantage of the opportunity when it comes. An opportunity will come. A door will open. The question is, when it does, will you be ready? And with that advice, I started doing my therapy, I started training, and sure enough, the Chicago Bears called. Jerry Angelo, who was the general manager at the time for the Bears, called and he said, hey, we want to bring you into Chicago for a 1-week contract. I remember my agent saying, 1 week, Jerry, 1 week, what's 1 week? And Jerry said, hey, let's bring him for 1 week, let's just see what the kid's about, and if he does well, we'll extend him. And sure enough, I flew out to Chicago here in November, and I played out that first week, and after that first week, they extended me to the end of the year. After the end of the year, they extended me to, they sent me to Germany to play for the Berlin Thunder. And then they extended me beyond that. And that 1 week turned into an incredible 11-year career in the NFL. It's so incredible how just one door being opened can transform one life. So along my journey, I've had so many people support me, help me build my dream, opening doors that otherwise I might not have been able to walk through, that have really been transformative for my development and for my growth. So this event is all about coming together, right? In the building of anything, the transformation of anything, right? When we're talking about the lives of our children, changing our communities, elevating one another, it's about working together, building together, coming together. My story exemplifies that. I would not be here today sharing in this event with you without the countless people that supported me. And we just would love for you to do what you can with what you have, with where you are today. And that's why we're launching our matching challenge. For every dollar given, we will match dollar for dollar up to $30,000. I want to thank our anonymous donor that has already given to this incredible match. We thank you. I thank you, because that also reminds me of the anonymous donor that gave to me, allowing me to be a part of that program at the YMCA. I want to also thank the PNC Bank. We thank you for your partnership as well, and to all of you for being a part of this incredible event and committing just to do good in our great city, in our great communities, and to transform the lives of those around us. Thank you. I love you. Bear down.
Thank you, Israel. Where would any of us be? Where would any of us be if someone hadn't opened a door for us? Be it a parent, a friend, a mentor, a partner, or a stranger. Today, we all have the power to be that person who opens a door for someone else, a door to a new home and a healthier future. Thanks to all of you who have helped open doors for your neighbors for generations to come. Let's take a look at our fundraising totals to date. Currently, we're at $120,000. That's awesome. Special shout outs to John, Bridget, Betsy, Jan, Jessica, Gould and Ratner, Clinton, Marin, and Jenna. Thank you to everybody. Up next, we have the pleasure of hearing firsthand the power of Habitat Chicago's home ownership program from current homeowners Joyce and Tanya. This discussion is facilitated by my friend and fellow board member, Tammy Pierce. Tammy, take it away.
Thank you, Mike, and thank all of you for joining us here today. Over here at Habitat, I know we are known for the houses, but we would have no use for the houses if it were not for the families that we serve. So I am so privileged to have representatives from two Habitat Chicago families here to talk to us today. Before we jump in, I would like the both of them to tell us a little bit about themselves. So we'll start with you, Tanya. Go ahead.
Hi, I've been a Habitat homeowner for 2 years now. I am a train attendant for Amtrak. Been there about almost 11 years. I have a 9-year-old daughter. We love to roller skate, bowl, and go to the movies and things like that. Also, another quick thing about me, where I'm back in school, and I just recently lost almost 100 pounds, so that's me.
Wow, that is a lot, Tanya. Okay, Joyce, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Joyce. Actually, I am about to become a Habitat homeowner. I'm in the last stages of becoming a homeowner. I work for a manufacturing company. I have a son named Willie who's going to be moving in with me. He is my light and joy, and we cannot wait to get started.
Thank you both for that. So let's jump into the conversation. Tanya, why don't you tell us what first attracted you to Habitat and what keeps you part of the family?
Let's see. Actually, I stumbled upon Habitat. My mother overheard a conversation about a homeowner for the Habitat, and I went online, found all the information out. I had like 2 days to apply, so I hurried up and gathered all my information in that same day, ran down to Habitat and applied, and I was accepted like within days. So I was very lucky and blessed to stumble upon that information. I stay with Habitat because it's a family now. You get to learn about your neighbors. You learn so much in the program, and you learn so much information on top of information. Make sure you keep up with your information. So it's just a good program to be a part of, and it's a good family to join.
Wow, thank you for that. And Joyce, so we know that Habitat is not every home buyer's first stop. So what were some of the key obstacles for you when trying to buy a home the traditional way that led you to come over to Habitat?
Traditionally, going to banks to get a loan, all the information that they need and everything that they want you to do to give you a house that has a high interest rate on it. And it's probably going to be a used house, old house. You don't know what problems the house have. Habitat is not like that. They work with you to get the loan that you need for your house. There's no interest rates for these houses. So that is very important. The houses are new. You are the first owner of the house. They're built from the ground up. They're yours. And Traditionally, that does not happen.
Wow, that is so cool. So, did you actually try with other traditional lenders before Habitat, and what was one of the I would say key difference that you found?
When I tried to go through, I'm not going to name the company, to get a loan for a bank from this lender, they sent me through a lot of red tape, and then like the down payment that they wanted, I might as well have been buying a house with the down payment. The extra paperwork that they needed, the things that they were asking for that just was outrageous for this house that is not new. The interest rate on a oh wow, I don't even want to talk about the interest rate. It's just ridiculous. They have you running through hoops to get this used house. It's just that simple.
Wow, thank you for sharing that with us. Tanya, when you were answering your other question, you mentioned the education. So part of that Habitat program we know is our home buyer education program, and you actually get a chance to work on the houses. You going through that program and you going through the act of working on your house and working on your neighbor's house, why did that mean so much to you?
It meant a lot to me, and it's very necessary. When you first hear about having to go through these programs and these classes, sometimes you might get discouraged, or you're like, I don't need to do that. You need to do it. Especially if you're anything like me. Like, I've always lived in apartments. You can no longer call on a landlord. So this information that you get is stuff that you need to know for your home. The classes, I've never hammered a nail in my life, so I was a little intimidated, but it's very good to learn and fun to learn how to do. Your neighbors appreciate you more when you're helping them build their home, and you appreciate your neighbors more, they're helping build your home. And I think that's important. In my previous apartment, I lived in a building with 4 apartments. I didn't know any of my neighbors. I'd never known their names or anything. I've always said hello, but I didn't know anything about them. And here, when you go through these programs and these classes, and you're you using your time to get to know your neighbors, it's very important because you get to know them. They look out for you. You look out for them, and you become like a family. So it's very important and very necessary.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that part of Habitat, Tanya, because part of our mission at Habitat is not just to build houses, but truly build community. And I love everything that you were saying about learning about your neighbors, looking out for each other, because it means that we are really living out the mission that we have set out. And I think that's such a beautiful point that you brought forward. So once you went through all of that and you were in the house, how did life really change for you and your daughter?
Oh, wow. So first, I like to say, when I was in my apartment, I was on the 4th floor with no elevator. Okay, uh, I'm done with steps, carrying laundry, groceries. Oh, and I have my own washer and dryer, but I'm done carrying laundry bags, groceries up those steps. So that's one of my best favorite whatever changes. Um, Now I have my own backyard. It's fenced in. Kaylee can go up outside and play. I don't have to worry about, what's going on. I can see her from my backyard. She's safe. Uh, I have my own garage. Um, just now us having our own. Kaylee loves her space. Um, For some reason, she loves sliding down the stairs, but she can do that because I don't have to worry about anybody downstairs making all that noise. So us just being more free and feeling more comfortable and more safe is a very big difference, better difference. We're so much happier in this space than we were in our apartment. Absolutely.
Joyce, I am so excited because you mentioned that you are about to become a homeowner. You're in the buying process. You've done the classes. You've been building on homes. I was there on site for Women Build when you were out there building. So, on the day when you sign those papers and you become a homeowner, what will putting the word owner next to Joyce, what would that mean to you?
It would mean a lot to me putting owner next to Joyce. It means I own a part of Chicago, that I own something that is mine, that I can do whatever I want to do with it. And it's one of those things where you feel so blessed and so lucky to be fortunate enough to have something that is yours. You don't have to rely on nobody to come and fix nothing. I can park in my garage now. Don't have to worry about that because it's mine. So owning something that is mine, that's what that means. That I don't have to worry about what nobody tells me to do with it, what color to paint it, what plants to put in front of it, what flowers I want to grow. If I barbecue, I ain't got to wonder if the next door neighbor is going to barbecue or if someone in the building is going to barbecue with me. I don't have to worry about it because it's mine.
Oh my goodness, that sounds amazing. And I've been a Chicago native my whole life, and I've never thought about when you buy property, you now own a piece of Chicago. That is such a profound point, and I'm so glad you said that, and I am so excited for you. Our time together today, I can't believe it's gone by so fast. In our closing remarks, I want the two of you to give a little advice. So, Tanya, you've been a homeowner for a couple of years now. So, with your closing remarks, can you please give a little advice to Joyce as she is about to embark on her home buying journey?
Joyce, make sure you're patient. Make sure you remember everything you learned. And if you forget anything, you can still call on Habitat. They will look out for you and help you with anything that you're concerned about. Like during this pandemic, I was furloughed for work. I'm going back, by the way, but I was furloughed for work, and I was having money issues and things like that. And I kept that line of communication open with Habitat. They worked with me, and they gave me links for people that's helping people that's having problems. Anything you need, they'll give you their resources, or they'll figure out what they can do to help you out. And just always keep that line of communications open, because nobody's mind reader. As long as you tell them what's going on, they'll be able to help you out. Make sure you keep in contact with your neighbors. Hey, neighbor, if you ever need anything, just feel free to come by or talk to your neighbors or your daughter, because she's on the block. So just make sure you just keep up with everything, and whatever you can't remember, they'll help remind you of what you need. So welcome to the family.
Family.
Thank you so much for that, Tanya. Okay, now Joyce, with your remarks, for that person that is listening to us right now who is contemplating buying a home, who has been denied the traditional loan, or who says, I'm in my latter years, I may be too old, or I may be too young, give them some advice about buying a home.
First advice I would give them is try Habitat. Go there first. The other advice that I would give them is, once you are a part of the Habitat family and you are on that journey, do not give up. This is not a sprint. This is most definitely a marathon, but it is worth it, because at the finish line is what you're working for: your own piece of property, your own home. So do not get discouraged. Do not give up. It's going to seem like it's hard, all the things that you have to do. They're not just for the Habitat family. They're for you. They're actually doing this. You might not think you need it, because there were things they told me, and I was like, what that got to do with owning a house? But you need it. You need everything that they tell you, and every place they send you, the stuff that they're teaching you, the house building that they're giving to you. It may not seem like something that you need or want, but trust me, it's needed. It is most definitely needed. So run that marathon and get to the finish line, because there's a house with your name on it waiting for you.
Thank you for that, Joyce. Well, our time together has concluded, but I just want to thank you both for joining us today. You have truly inspiring stories, and I thank you sincerely for sharing with us today. I know people will learn from hearing from you and be inspired. Thank you all for joining the conversation with us today. And now I'll turn it back over to you, Mike.
Thank you, Tammy, Tanya, and Joyce. I hope you all enjoyed learning a bit more about Habitat Chicago's affordable home ownership program and what it means to our community. Tanya and Joyce both described being part of Habitat as being part of a family, and I think that's the perfect way to describe what we're about: a vibrant, committed, dedicated family looking out for and caring for one another, getting creative and helping families and neighbors overcome hurdles to build thriving futures. This panel wraps up our program for you today. During the panel, my family and I just made our own gift. We choose to support Habitat because we believe in Chicago. We believe in generational wealth in all neighborhoods, and we believe in a sense of place provided by the work done by Habitat Chicago. And with that, let's get one last look at the progress to date, and we have beaten our goal. We're at $150,305. That's great. Thank you so much. Some quick shout outs: David, Dan, Lauren, Mary, Frank S., two friends of Cam Avery and Lynn Donaldson, Yannette, Kate, Will, and Paige. I know those three. Elizabeth and Frank K. Thank you so much. Folks, we did it. We hit our goal. Thank you all so much. Our fundraising site will stay open until the end of May, so please spread the word to those unable to attend the live event today. Every additional dollar we raise will go a long way to helping more of our neighbors. If you're unable to support financially, please consider giving the gift of your time. Head over to habitatchicago.org to find the ways you can get involved in our on our build site, at Restore, or working with us behind the scenes on one of our committees. It's been a pleasure being with you all today and hearing from so many important voices that make up this great city. From all of us at Habitat Chicago, thank you for spending your lunch hour with us, for your generosity and sharing in our vision of what our city can be. Thank you very much.